This is CJSW's Municipal Election Coverage, your audio guide to Calgary's 2025 election. This series gives you interviews with candidates running for office, exploring the people, policies, and issues that will shape Calgary's future. We're broadcasting from CJSW 90.9 FM, located at the University of Calgary, on the traditional territories of the people of the Treaty 7 region in southern Alberta. Before we begin, we would like to remind listeners that the views expressed in this podcast are those of the candidates and the interview subjects, and not those of CJSW or its staff. Deep in Calgary's northeast is a ward rich with culture, growth, and diversity. Known for its vibrant spirit, Ward 5 is home to newcomers building fresh roots, multi-generational families, and long-standing residents who have helped shape the character of this dynamic part of the city. Stretching to the city limits on both the north and east sides, this area is facing fast development. Conversations in Ward 5 center around improving public transit, enhancing community services, and building infrastructure that keeps pace with the area's growth. The communities included in Ward 5 are Castleridge, Cityscape, Cornerstone, Falconridge, Homestead, Martindale, Redstone, Saddleridge, Skyview Ranch, and Taradale. We went directly to citizens of Ward 5 to ask them what they're feeling this election season.
I feel like we should have a little better leadership there. Because in everything, like even if you go southeast, the cleanliness is pretty good there. Like even northwest, you cannot compare. Northeast is kind of getting a ghetto kind of thing. So cleanliness and there are kind of more things to work on.
Yeah, no, a dog park would be amazing. More trees, more walkways. But honestly, people there are great. They have large sidewalks, so it's very walkable. Transit's great. There's nothing much more I would change about it.
We invited all nominated council candidates running in Ward 5 to participate in this episode. None were able to participate, so we will jump straight into our conversations with school board trustee candidates. If you want to find out more about the council candidates in Ward 5, we recommend heading to the Sprawls Candidate Tracker linked in the episode description. Trustees play a critical role in shaping the direction of public education. They're responsible for setting priorities, approving budgets, and making decisions that impact students, families, and communities across their school jurisdictions. While their work often happens behind the scenes, it has a direct effect on the quality of education in Calgary. Just like councillors, trustees are elected during the municipal election. To find out which board you vote for, whether it's the Calgary Board of Education, Calgary Catholic School District, or another publicly funded board, you can visit electionscalgary.ca and use the Where Do I Vote tool. We reached out to all nominated trustee candidates running in this ward, inviting them to participate in this podcast. The interviews you're about to hear include only those candidates who responded and were available within our production timeline. To keep things fair and concise, we've selected about 1 minute from each candidate's response. The audio is presented unedited, and we've done our best to ensure every participant's voice is clearly and accurately represented. Let's now hear from the trustee candidates running in this ward. What are your top 3 priorities for Calgary schools, and how do you plan to address them during your term? From Public School Board Trustee candidate Aruj Fuad.
My main goal is students first. Money should follow the students. That's my main agenda. Also, parental rights is like my passion. I have always been, I am a parent myself and a grandparent, and I would like to have that say in everything that my child is going through in school. So having a transparent conversation and communication. The third thing is quality education, which is like also a very highly prioritized thing that I believe in.
From Public School Board Trustee candidate Waqar Ahmed.
The kids, they are having access to the material in libraries which is not age appropriate. So I'm going to be in topmost priority would be to remove all those material which are not age appropriate. Although Government of Alberta has promised something and they provided a timeline, but I would go for educating the parents and remove it right away, not a timeline. So this is my priority first. Priority second is that we have new communities, and then a blanket rezoning is also going on in the Calgary. Everyone is looking for the housing of people and influx of people out from the Alberta to accommodate them, and that's a good thing. But nobody thinks about the schools, that where they're going to be accommodating the kids. So I have the second priority that I would be for sure going to resolve that matter, because some of the schools are allotted to the kids which are away from their designated area. So like let's say somebody is in the Cornerstone, he has been given a school in Southeast, which is too far.
From Public School Board trustee candidate, Amna Chowdhury.
My top three priorities would be kind of coming back to the core education. I feel like the last few years our focus has deterred. I myself have gone through the public education here in Calgary, in Ward 10, and it was wonderful. And we had the strongest education system. And lately I've heard parents complaining about how things are no longer the same. They have shifted. And that's kind of what encouraged me to stand up into the elections to bring that voice back for the parents and ensure that we go back to our core education system. The other part I've noticed in Ward 510 is an overflow issues in schools. And that's something we need to have a discussion on and bring parents' voice to the table. I understand the funding is coming from province, but we need to hold the city council accountable for building new schools as the new communities are growing.
From Public School Board trustee candidate, Cynthia Cordova.
Yes, so I have quite a bit of priorities for my school term if I was elected as a trustee, as I was a trustee before in my previous roles for 2 terms in Ontario. One of those things would always making sure that I put students' voices at the center of the table. I want to bring voices to the table and connect community resources and community parents and students, their voices to the table. And one of the initiatives I have is bringing in an Indigenous trustee voice to the table, as well as a student trustee voice to the table to help us facilitate and make good decisions at the boardroom table.
Running in the Calgary Catholic School District for Wards 3 and 5, Terry Thuo.
Oh, thank you so much, Kaamil, and thank you so much for having me today. It's a privilege to be here. I'm glad. And to answer your question, the top 3 priorities that I have to achieve when I'm a Calgary Catholic School District Board of Trustee, one of them is to retain our faith and to focus on our student is the second, and the third, it's our staff, and to unite all the necessary components in the district.
How will you ensure equitable access to quality education for students across all communities, including those from marginalized or underserved backgrounds? From Uruj Fuad.
It's a very good question, actually. This is one of the things that actually drives me through this whole campaign and actually made me jump into it. I think all the communities need a voice, and that's my goal, to give them a voice. And most of the time when I communicate with people, they do have their opinions, but they don't have mean or right information to deliver that voice. I would like to be their voice and my voice as well, because I believe in it very firmly.
From Waqar Ahmed.
Most of the children, they are trying to get into, by their parents, they are trying to get into their charter school, like I would say private schools, because they want to go, they want to groom their child as per their religion or as per their culture. FFCA is one example. Islamic schools is one example. Khalsa school is one example. Why they go there? because they think that our kids would be remaining in touch with their culture, and if they send their kids to CB, their kids may not be remaining in touch with their culture. So we need to focus on that aspect too, and not letting parents waiting for years and years for charter schools. Rather, we can devise something within our CB system to involve people. Like, what will happen if we give, like, there's a one prayer time in afternoon, and if you give 10 minutes for the high schoolers to go in a multi-purpose hall and do prayers and come back.
From Amna Chowdhury.
Basically, this kind of goes back to making sure we're going back into our core education. We want to talk to all the parents who have had these concerns, and this is something I've actually had a conversation where some feel neglected, some aren't getting the same opportunity, and the board itself has a governance that it should be providing 3 areas, which is the fiduciary, strategic, and organizational. And part of the fiduciary is the legal right for all children to have an equal right for their education. And I think this is where we need to come together as a community, bring in all the parents and the teachers together and hear what they have to say about different programs, and start creating a plan for the next 4 years and how we can further implement different needs for just different sets of group of people, whether they're struggling in maths or science or different areas.
From Cynthia Cordova.
This is definitely my field of interest. I did and have worked for the Salvation Army with mental health addictions. I've also worked in my previous role as a trustee in a marginalized community that had about 8 performance plus schools. There is funding there, but how we utilize that funding to better provide resources to students, resource sharing through our community of the education system is vital, and how we manage that $1.67 billion budget is critical.
From Terry Thuo.
Yeah, that's a good question, and I think that is that's one issue that the district have. Because of the funding, we find that the class sizes are overcrowded, and the teachers they are understaffed. So that is one of the things that we need to tackle: more help for the teachers, and also more funding especially from the government.
How will you engage with parents, teachers, and students, and the broader community to ensure transparency and responsiveness in decision-making? From Uruj Fuad.
I think communication is the key, and to be able to connect with people. I think what I lack and what I felt when I was a parent, that it's almost impossible to get through the whole wall of parents and trustees communication. If I can actually feel that way, and I am going for this specific responsibility, I would like to be as available for my community and my people and all the parents, because I know exactly where they're coming from, and I would like to address that for them. So availability, communication, being able to answer and pick up all the phone calls that I receive, and it's going to be huge, I know that, but this is exactly why I'm here.
From Waqar Ahmed.
We do survey. We can increase the amount of surveys, and some parents are busy. They don't do surveys. They don't see emails, which is kind of a passive move by CPE. I would rather make it a little bit more active. So what I would do is I do arrange ask the board to arrange an event for parents to come there, and they can just be given a small little note or a piece of paper. We can do some event there, and we can get the feedback. And we would ask them to involve in volunteering also, by letting them involve in our fundraising like move for a school, let's say, would let us know what they want and how they want it.
From Amna Chowdhury.
I plan myself to be more involved within the community by hosting several meet and greets. I'm actually hosting one this Saturday myself to get a chance to meet teachers and students and also parents. And I plan on continuing to do that probably on a quarterly basis or monthly based on what the situation will be to make sure that I can bring that voice to the board. There'll be plans and voting, and I would like to make sure that I account for all the voice of every community within Ward 5 and 10, be engaged, and make sure that we can bring that voice back to the board. Because myself living in Ward 5 or 10, I don't even know what's happening there. And we wouldn't know what's the decisions being made. And I would like to make sure that I'm accountable to the entire public by presenting what the issues are and hosting quarterly or monthly meets and greets or showing up to different communities with the information.
From Cynthia Cordova.
Well, that's very important because when we hold a title like this, we are not all experts. We do have to rely on the community, the voices to bring forward. So I will be available to welcome those voices and help support through the navigation of resolutions. I have some of that experience, of course, in my conflict resolution experience background. So I'm hoping that would be utilized. But basically, it's coming together, looking at both perspectives, both sides, and then coming with a solution that works.
From Terry Thuo.
Thank you, Kaamil, for that question because this is a job that everyone has to be involved. It involves students, it involves teachers, and also the community at large. And as a new immigrant to Canada, I know how important that is, especially communication, because some of the things get lost in the translation. It doesn't mean that people don't speak English. You could speak English, but also the culture is different. Right now, we have many new immigrants in our schools, like from Ukraine, from Nigeria, from other parts of the world, and we need to work on that, and I'm here to bridge that gap.
What is your position on the role of schools in addressing issues such as mental health, inclusion, and anti-racism? How would you support initiatives in these areas? From Aruj Fuad.
All of these things are very, very important, and we, like as a person, immigrant, I have experienced it firsthand, so I know exactly how it feels. Our schools need to be more engaged with students one-on-one on these issues because these are really, really important issues. Having to have facilitating students on school premises with the guidance of counselors and all, we need to make sure that they have right resources in school to support all of these areas because most of the time students lacking communication is going to be very difficult for them, and it is a difficult thing because as a parent I have experienced all of that. To make sure that the right resources are available right in schools is going to be my priority.
From Waqar Ahmed.
Yeah, so this is, as I said, these are my top priorities too. So mental health in the kids is on the increase. I have seen the research, and I have 4 kids in schools. One is now in the university, my own child. One is in high school, one is in grade 5, and one is gonna be going in grade 1 next year. So, I have multiple kids, and I have been talking with them what's going on in the school, and what mental stress they are going through. There are different age people, especially in the junior high schools. So a child from grade 7, let's say, is also having conversation, and they're coming across a child from grade 9 or 11 sometime. So for them, interacting with those other kids, especially out of home, where we do a spoon feeding and we don't expose them to everything. So they have been coming across the social media where the kids were having Instagram groups, and they used to bully sometime a child.
From Amna Chowdhury.
racism has something that's been there not from today, but several years, or even 20 some years. I myself have faced that ourselves. I think this is where it goes back to the core governance, that making sure that every children has that opportunity, setting up different platforms for children to learn about, and to ensure that we can break this stigma that is in terms of the racism, in terms of mental wellness, and be okay to come out and make that concern, and whether that's a student going to the teacher because that's who they trust, or a community member, or this programs that we have set up. I believe right now there are several opportunities available, but I think it's about getting those information out to students, and knowing that they can reach out to this area to get the support, whether it's your parents, your teachers, your community group.
From Cynthia Cordova.
Yes, as I've given some background in regards to my experiences on that, and my lived experiences as well, I think it's important that we do bring voices of all sorts together. Trauma-informed is really crucial in my experience, and I think although we have the knowledge, we don't necessarily have a full understanding of what that looked like. So bringing voices together, different walks of understandings, learnings, culture, experiences, this will help us broaden our knowledge and make better informed decisions.
From Terry Thuo.
Thank you again, Kaamil. And that's a very good question, because it touches me personally in many areas, and I can speak for most parents and students as a person of faith, and I am blessed to be a Catholic. And in the Catholic school, we just have to follow the model of Jesus Christ, because in our Catholic faith, we are supposed to treat others as we would want to be treated, so no one is left out.
With ongoing concerns about education funding and class sizes in Alberta, how will you advocate for the resources schools need while working within budget constraints? From Uruj Fuad.
We need to make sure that money follows the students. It has always been a problem, and I, as a parent as well, I have seen it. Being a volunteer in school for a very long time, I have seen all of it firsthand. Making sure that the money that has been given to schools and students and classrooms are going to be spent there in full capacity. Being transparent and having that open communication, need to know where the money is going. Every resource that we're using, we need to have that very open a very transparent tracking of all of that. I think the easiest way is to have yourself available for all of these things, and tracking it right from the beginning.
From Waqar Ahmed.
Yeah, very good question, and this is what I am focusing to. If you see, I said we can get federal income, federal fund support, not income, for the parents who are charged with the noon supervision, because school doesn't have funds, and federal government, they have announced the child care. Why don't we just go over and say these are children, and they are, as per federal rules, they are allowed to get some support out of the school, but the parents are getting billed for noon supervision for the kids who are under grade 5 or 4. So we can access those funds, and nobody thought about it, which I'm thinking on, that we can get into that. And the second one was, since we have a funds restraints and there's oversized classes, and I'm also talking about reducing the fee for multiple kids and stuff. So from where we get, it's going to be community who is going to fund that. And as I said, we can introduce multicultural events.
From Amna Chowdhury.
I think that's kind of where I'm really focusing on that, going back to the core, what's happening. Again, this is something we would have to go in, but if we bring back ourselves into the core education and identify what the curriculums are, I think that would help alleviate some of the concerns that we're facing. Of course, we would have to require, I would like to reach out to the provincial government and request further funding, but I think we need to reevaluate what's happening internally and perhaps make an audit before we, so we can actually go in with a further strong voice of why we need it, rather than just saying we're limited on resources. Ward 5 and 10, we definitely need more schools. There is no school. Actually, yesterday I was driving around and there is no school in Cityscape, Cornerstone. All of these children are being pushed into Ward 10s and older community schools, and this is where we need to have that voice, be a strong voice to say why we need it.
From Cynthia Cordova.
Good, great question, actually, because it is a $1.7 billion budget. I operated in my 2 terms as a $1.5 billion budget, and it is very important to look at that budget and making sure that those fundings are being utilized. One of the initiatives I did at the time was stop a budget until we could find a better solution to not take out programs that were vital in our community. So this is a board-wide thing. It's not just here in Alberta, but my experience could help bring that knowledge to the table.
From Terry Thuo.
Thank you, Kaamil. Yeah, there is so much restriction on the funding in the Catholic school district typically, and that's something we are trying to work with the government, because it's very sad every spring when you hear about the budget allocations and how much funds we are receiving from the government. That's something really they should look into it, and especially in the areas of disabilities, because we have a lot of needs there and we need help, and we need more people to be able to help the teachers and students.
Is there anything else you want people to know? From Uruj Fuad.
Yes, I would like people to know, and I would like myself to be represented as one of them, to know that where I'm coming from, exactly what they're thinking, what they have in mind is what my agenda is. And I will be their voice. And it's not that like whatever I have and I placed here is going to be the only goal that I have, but whatever they're coming with, or if they have any issues that they want to address other than what I am passionate about, I am passionate about everything. So to have that communication, to have that goal in mind, that whatever they're presenting to me, I am going to be their voice, is going to be my goal.
From Waqar Ahmed.
I have a deep insight, having 4 kids in CBE, one now gone to university. I trust on CBE. They have a quality education. There are some tweaks which we need to fix to make it more better and great. Calgary is one of the top city of the world. We don't want that we don't provide a quality education to our kids. So we need to provide quality of education like a top world country. I love this city. I've been here since 2013 after naturalizing as a federal skilled worker. I want our kids, they grow as a good citizen, they contribute to the province of Alberta and Canada, and the communities should grow together, and they should be participating in national levels, intellectual levels. They should be good scientists, teachers, armed forces, doctors.
From Amna Chowdhury.
Our only priority should be our students, and we need to support that and give the resources to the teachers, to our parents, to give that support, the foundation that we need to create for our students. They are our futures, and we need to make that change happen today.
From Cynthia Cordova.
Yes. Well, basically, when it becomes an election season, the way I view these things is that there is a position available as if you were applying for a position like a job. And it is important for the voters to look at all the candidates that are available to want to fulfill that passion or that job at the table. And based on what they read and the experiences that candidates come, I believe that voters then could make that decision on who they want to see represent in that position of a job. So at the end of the day, it's really crucial that voters have a voice, and one of the ways of starting to have the voice is to go vote.
From Terry Thuo.
Yes, thank you so much, Kaamil. I would like people to know that in Catholic School District Education, if you choose me to be your candidate, I will be there advocating for new immigrant, for people of faith, for people who are here. Because in the Catholic School District, we don't view that you're new or you're old. We are all the children of God, and we are made in the image of God. And that's what helps us to be who we are as Catholic School District.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of CJSW's Municipal Election Coverage. I hope today's conversation brought you a little closer to your community and the people who want to lead it. I'm your host, Emma, and all of the source material for this episode can be found in the episode description. Remember to visit electionscalgary.ca for more information on every candidate and to check your voter registration. Again, we would like to remind listeners that the views expressed in this podcast are those of the candidates and the interview subjects, and not those of CJSW or its staff. Make sure to visit cjsw.com or the CJSW app to check out our voter education episode and our exclusive mayoral debate. Until then, take care, and please vote, follow, and share.